can't be the only one to look at this image and just feel like there's something wrong. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It is Flame. Welcome everyone back to a brand new episode of Dr. Stone. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm covering episode 15 of this series. And yes, I know I'm late on this. This episode premiered a week ago. Next episode and the next arc for Dr. Stone is going to be premiering tomorrow on Friday as I'm recording this on Thursday. So my apologies, but you know what they say, better late than never. But this episode, it was inspirational. I loved it, and it definitely was a happy ending of the village arc here to Dr. Stone. But let's start from the very beginning. So our Kingdom of Science were victorious in the ground bound. They defeat Magma last episode, and we have Chrome, Senku, and Ginro as the last one standing. And at this point, it doesn't matter who wins, because whoever wins will get the last ingredients to make the sulfur drug to help Ruri out. And there's points where you feel like Chrome should win this, but at the exact same time, I'm kind of glad that Chrome didn't win. And I'm looking towards that because I feel like watching Dr. Stone so far, it would be way too early for Chrome to control the village and also to marry the love of his life. You know, even though they met each other and they've been best friends ever since their childhood, and Chrome helping her out, and that he would do anything to keep her alive when they were young, at the exact same time, I feel like it was a good pacing for Dr. Stone that maybe down the line within a further arc, or there's something happening in the village, or there's a party or etc., maybe we'll have a Chrome and Ruri moment. Eventually they'll get married in the future, but as of now, I think it was a good pacing for it. Ginro, I think you gotta love his character, but at the exact same time, I love it how within this episode, you feel like it should be really serious of them making the drug. They had to hurry up and make this drug all finished. And when Ginro was talking with Ruri at this point, saying, hey, we're just gonna throw this fight so you and Chrome can marry each other, she can't say anything about that. Her father's watching, she's the priestess of this village, and that no matter who wins, she'll have to marry them. But she's giving a little bit of a hint right there. She loves Chrome, but our boy Ginro, the guy, the crazy person, as you all know, he likes Ruri as well, but he wants to control this village. And this is what I love about the comedy in Dr. Stone, and I love it how everyone in the village is like, we can't let this guy win. There's no way we can let him win. He's a person that he'll just love his ramen, he wants girls, he wants fame and all this other glory. These village people won't survive if he is the leader out of all this at this point. So Senku using a nutcracker joke on Ginra as well. But winning the fight, we have Senku versus Chrome, the two science nerds out of this physical ground bound fight. And like I said, it's good that Chrome didn't win this, just because I want more development with him and Ruri, because there is going to be like that in the future. There's 100% where we're going to get an arc, or it might be filler or somewhere around there, of them two maybe being on the cliff on the village, them all alone. Maybe we'll get a kiss scene somewhere around there. I think that's a proper way for Chrome and Ruri to build a relationship than just having a physical fight, being the leader of this village and marrying her right away, especially her with this illness. Now we have Senku as the winner out of all this, and I love his character so much at this point, because he doesn't care if people look towards him as a villain at this point. Like, yes, he marries Ruri, now he gets the alcohol and the vinegar that he needs, and now he is the village leader out of everything. And it's good as us watchers, because it's like, hey, this guy has been outside the village for 6 months trying to get the people's trust so that he could eventually go against Tsukasa, win the fight, and go back to step 1 to reviving everyone that's part of the stone in the stone world and get back on track. But knowing his character, he doesn't care about being the village leader. He doesn't care about marriage or anything like that. Number one, he knows that Chrome loves Ruri, so he's being a good wingman for getting a divorce on Ruri. First time ever as a priestess, and with this ground bound, she gets divorced, gets the alcohol and the vinegar so he could hurry up and get this medicine to save Ruri's life. Describes Senku's character of what he is, and he's being a good wingman to our boy Chrome. And even Ruri's character as well, saying that, like, Chrome, I'm glad that he'd done this in the first place so that we could be together in the future. But here we go, the final steps. And this is what I loved about Dr. Stone in this series so far, is that I think it was a really good pacing of what the story was. You know, it was a huge start what we saw back in episode 5, 6, somewhere around there when we first saw Kohaku, Chrome, and etc. like that. That it was step 1 all the way to here. And within the steps, it was one piece at a time. One episode focused on the ramen to get people to make the iron. Next one was the iron, the electricity, getting the sulfuric acid. It was finally at a good pace, but finally we have the final steps. They have all the ingredients put together, and now that they slowly make it at this point. And even though when you look at Senku and his character, he's a leader of the operations. If it wasn't for him, Ruri would die. But I love it how everyone contributed to this. They all saved Ruri's life. It wasn't just Senku. You look towards him as a leader and you think that he did everything. I think that's completely false. I think everyone pulled their weight and saved this young girl's life. And I love it with Kohaku's character, because even though she doesn't know anything about science, she saved her sister at the exact same time from her illness, getting this hot spring water that's far away from their village back every single day. You're not even worried about her physical health, just saving her sisters. That was a contribution. Okay, they really needed manpower to make iron, so she went undercover in the village, eavesdropped between everyone of what they wanted. Eventually Senku made ramen, got the people's help, and made the iron for their steps. You both have Ginro and Kinro being the physical attributes of the Kingdom of Science within the ground bound, but also of course helping with electricity with the Edison light bulb. Again, a person that was just focusing on himself, that no matter what, if he's part of Tsukasa's side, if he's part of Senku's side, he only wants what's beneficial towards him. But thanks to Senku's science and his help, eventually creating iron, the Edison light bulb, getting the sulfuric acid, and making the medicine, and even making a deal with him making the cola. It's huge for him since he went undercover with Tsukasa's base, saying that Senku is actually dead and that you don't have to worry about this village. If it wasn't for Gen right there, Tsukasa would eventually find this village and potentially even eliminated everyone. You had the old man, which measurements with the glass, which is a huge part in science that you don't know if something is too much or too low. Making this sulfur drug that maybe you have too much of an ingredient or too less of an ingredient, so it's good for him to pull out his weight, and especially him making the gas mask as well when they had to go and get the sulfuric acid. Chrome, a guy that's been collecting materials and rocks all of his life, some of those materials and rocks were able to actually get them started in the first place. So seeing everyone contribute into one building this medicine is incredible, and this just shows that it's not just Senku, it's everyone around that's a main character. I love that dynamic. We see a little bit parts though of making that they're actually making carbonated water, and this is a part why I also love Senku's character as well, is that he's a man of his word, but he's also a good friend at the exact same time. We see this medicine in this project. The first step is to save this girl's life. She's dying. Time is running out. You have to hurry up and make this medicine. And with Gen on the other hand, like I said, him only caring about himself, he made a deal with Senku that I will be part of the Kingdom of Science and tell Tsukasa lies if you make a bottle of cola. So when you see him making this medicine, it's understandable that they need to make this. I don't care about your cola. We're making this medicine so we could save this girl's life. Afterwards, I'm still a man of my word. I can make this for you. When he gets this carbonated water to make baking soda and to go step by step out making this drug, he makes the cola for Gen. This whole entire time when they're building the medicine steps, he took out of his time and with his way and with Ruri's life to give him a bottle of cola of what he needs. A man of his word and a good friend that he could actually be trusted with. That's an incredible character for you there, and it just shows that Senku really cares about his friends and that he would do anything. That's like Tsukasa said about his weakness is with his friends. So I love that element, and with Gen finally having that delicious drink that he always wanted, that he liked a day-to-day basis in the future or within his daily life, he finally has it back and is grateful for it. So I love that little part of what we have with Dr. Stone, and it just really shows the bond that Senku has with his friends, that it's not just him, it's everyone all around. But here we are. So after 6 months of making this and after 3 months of us watching, we see this drug being made. And this is a part where it could bring happiness all around, or it could be very terrifying because we don't know of what Ruri's actual disease is. We don't know what her problem is. So when they give her this drug, there's a little bit of a side effect to it. They have to think of what is this actual disease? What does she have? At this point, her illness could be so strong that drugs won't be able to do anything and she could eventually die. There's a point where if they make this drug, they could save her life. Or there's another one where if it could be a different disease and they made the wrong drug, or if they made it and it actually supposed to help her but she just ran out of time, it would have been terrible. Bacteria and the infection, the virus would have gone to her so long that this medicine wouldn't be able to save her life. She had this for around like what, almost 2 years or her whole life. So to survive this long, do that spring water with Kohaku and with this medicine, connect the dots and actually see that she actually had ammonia. And it's good because this ammonia is weak against the sulfuric drug that they actually made in the first place. So that's a huge turnaround that we thought that this could have been really devastating. Imagine them going all this time, 6 months, making this drug and not helping Ruri survive. That it was a different disease and unfortunately they couldn't help her out. That's scary about Dr. Stone because we've seen death flakes already happen in this like anime. You know, we have Gen against Megami right there with the fake blood, Chrome slipping, almost falling into the lake of sulfuric acid if it wasn't Ginro saving his life, and Ruri having this terrible problem that she has this side effect of the drug. It might not actually be effective, like she might have a different disease. Unfortunately, they just ran out of time and she couldn't be cured. Imagine that would have been a devastating episode within Dr. Stone. But knowing from her illness ammonia, the drug suddenly started to work day in and day out, starting to give it to her. We see the beautiful moment of Ruri stepping outside the village and just looking at the sunlight, looking at the beauty surrounding her, her friends perfectly healthy, could run around, her father being happy that she's actually surviving. Like, that's a terrific sight to look at, because with Dr. Stone, it was 50-50 with this episode. You have this beautiful ending where she could live now with her friends and be okay with a day-to-day basis, or unfortunately, her illness could have been so bad that we could have had her die in this episode at this point. Even though that Ruri was cured and it's glad seeing her outside, at the exact same time, they basically made a hospital. So if anyone has Ruri's condition in the future or anything other disease, they'll be able to have this drug to save people's lives. So that's a win-win in the books at this point. But the very last part we see in this episode, it's a cliffhanger going towards this next arc, as we do know that this village is called Ishigami Village, and that's Senku's last name, Ishigami. We're wondering about that, of how did Ruri know about Senku in the first place, and especially knowing a last name, because in this day and age no one has a last name. So finally we're going to get the secrets unfolded next episode and towards the new arc of Dr. Stone, which I'm guessing is going to be connected to his father. That's the only thing I can know. We don't know anything about any other family members or even his mother, if he did have one or not, but my guess is that it's going to be connected to his father, and we're definitely going to be seeing some background in this next arc of Dr. Stone, which I'm going to be really looking forward to. But if you guys all enjoyed my review here of Dr. Stone episode 15, make sure of course to leave a like, comment down below what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on this episode, and subscribe to the channel to be greatly appreciated. Like I said, I apologize for all this, guys. This episode's already been out for a week. Next episode is right around the corner here, but this episode, it definitely was inspirational. It had a lot of courage, and it just shows that every single character in this series is fantastic. We'll see you guys in a brand new Dr. Stone video here soon. Much love, and as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.